Welcome into today's podcast right here at the Cog Hill 40. Peaches wouldn't let Nugget into the canned ham for this episode, so here's Jason and Brooke. Johnny Carson didn't have nothing on these folks.
What is going on, y'all? This is another episode of the Cogcast podcast coming at you from the hot canned ham.
Do you see my face? This is episode 100.
Oh, it is 100. Yeah, I forgot.
We got to start over.
Got to start over? Okay.
I didn't even realize it was 100.
I did. We ain't done nothing special. Oh, well.
Hold your fingers up, 2 zeros. No, it's not 110. It's 100. This is episode 100.
It is episode 100.
That made it special.
That did make it special. We have been very busy. I didn't even think about this was episode 100.
Well, when you started talking, my mouth was open, and I
Oh.
don't know how you didn't see it because you were looking in the camera.
I was looking in the camera.
Yeah, but I was going like this.
I was thinking about how probably last week we had a jacket on, and today the air conditioner's running.
It is, and my hair's still wet with sweat from, it's just after lunch.
It is hot outside. I don't even know what the temperature is. Have you looked?
No, but I always ask Alexa in the morning, and she said 80.
Was it going to be the high today?
Uh-huh.
It feels hotter than 80.
Well, it does.
To me, it does. It is warm outside.
It does.
I was going to look real quick. 83.
Oh, well.
83 today, 83 tomorrow, 84 on Sunday, 83 on Monday, and then it drops to 65.
So what does that tell you?
Yeah, got some rain coming.
Yep.
And then, what's crazy is it goes to 65, then jumps back up to 75, and then drops back to 55.
I did see
crazy.
some weather headlines yesterday.
Yeah.
That was like a local, kind of semi-local weather.
Yeah.
And it said, get ready for the Arctic blast.
Oh, gracious. I'm looking. I mean,
Well,
we do have a day that shows 32
This
for
was
the
next
low.
weekend.
Yeah.
Is when it
Next
said.
Saturday, it's showing 32 for the low. The low tonight is 61. So, yeah, that's, I guess,
61 or 67?
61.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the Arctic blast.
32 is the Arctic blast from 61.
For us, that's the Arctic blast.
Gosh, I'm so ready to pack my jacket away.
We can wear some shorty shorts today.
We can.
Woo.
I put these pants on this morning, and they're kind of like cropped at
Yeah,
the bottom.
Right.
And I thought to myself, I thought these were going to be the like knee cropped ones.
Mm-hmm. They're not.
No.
I have brought out my UV sun pants this week. It's been hot. I told you, as a matter of fact, I told you either this morning or yesterday, I think I had to bring out my sun shirts. Those sun shirts are way cooler than these t-shirts, believe it or not.
Well, you and Marycarl have been hard at planting flower gardens, and
We
you
have.
even asked me if I wanted to do some preparation,
Yes.
dirt work preparation this afternoon, a few minutes ago. And I was thinking, as fair-skinned as Marycarl is, she doesn't do heat.
Yeah, that's
She
right.
just doesn't do
Right.
heat. That we should go ahead and order her some of those long-sleeve UV shirts.
Yeah, we probably need to.
And, I mean, she's got a hat, but
She's got a
still,
sun hat.
her little fair-skinned arms, even with sunscreen,
Yep.
will...
You're right, and I got a feeling that she's not going to stay out of that flower garden.
No, I don't think so either, because we had to run to town this morning, had to do a grocery pickup.
Yeah.
She went with me, and she was telling me all about how you cross-pollinate flowers to develop a new color that's not in existence.
Wow.
And I was just listening to her, and I said, you really like this flower thing, don't you? And she said, well, yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? It's made me want to do it even more, just for the fact that, number one, she's going to enjoy it, but number two, how much time me and her will get to spend together, and just doing something that she really, really likes.
Yeah, she was even dreaming about possibly pulling this little canned ham somewhere and
Yeah.
setting up a little, just something. Just for something.
I got
extra.
a feeling that my eyes are bigger than my stomach on these flowers, because me and her, especially me, I say her, it's me. I've been ordering some specialty flowers. Me and her watching that documentary series that I talked about called Floret Farm, who's one of the most well-known flower farmers probably in the country. And she's got beautiful flower seeds over there. And somehow or another, I ordered just a few because she was completely sold out of everything. And when I ordered these few, all of a sudden now I get alerts when she gets new ones in.
Well, that's funny you say that, because she also told me this morning.
Yeah.
She said, "Mama, you know what Daddy told me?" I thought it was going to be something interesting.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And she said, "Daddy told me that he gets alerts on his phone when Florette gets something in that they were previously sold out on. And he said that could be dangerous."
She thought that was the funniest thing.
And she was just giddy about it.
She thought it was hilarious.
So
She is giddy about it. And she does have some colors that, Hosses are main seed people. I tell you this about Hoss. We get people, there's other seed companies out there. Won't y'all try? Hoss has been supporting us before we were nobodies.
that's right.
No other seed company has done what Hoss has done for us, and they jumped on board with us when we had probably 6,000 subscribers.
Well, besides that, it's a tried and true product.
It
not
is
like
that.
we're just.
That's right. It is that.
It's not like they just sponsor us and we just throw their name out there. It's
Right.
good stuff.
It is good stuff. Their customer service is top notch. I love those guys to death. Everybody over there, but I do. They're one of the first companies that wanted to be a part of what we're doing before anybody else did, and they've been with us for a long time, and that's I don't know. I think about that there's other people that now may want to jump on board, but they were there from the get-go, and I love those guys.
Yeah. Not
Yep.
to say that we won't fill in with things.
Oh
that
no, Mr.
we
Greg
can't
over
get from
there.
them.
Yeah, Greg he ain't no dummy.
No,
He
I
knows
mean,
he can't carry everything.
nobody can carry everything, and that's where
And
we.
too, Greg is friends with all the other seed companies, Baker and Southern Seed Exposure. They're all buddies.
Southern
So-
Seed Exchange, isn't it?
So Southern Seed Exchange or Southern Seed Exposure Exchange. It's a complicated name for me. Speaking of complicated, I think I got my rose card pulled.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. But did you get your facts straight before you go and spit this out?
I haven't talked to Tracy, but you read the message and said that I messed up.
Yes.
And I kind of feel like you know how a 15-year-old gets the driver's permit, and they're so excited and they get in that car, and the first turn they hit and they hit the curb, or they supposed to turn left and turn right and hit somebody else's car. It's kind of how I feel about roses. I got my driver's permit for roses, and I done had an accident already.
You hit a head on.
I had an accident. Well, I said, and I needed to be more clear, but in the last podcast, I said you couldn't make a mistake pruning roses and to prune in February, and that's for repeat bloomers. That's not spring bloomers. If you cut your rose in February and it's a spring bloomer, you're going to cut a lot of your blooms off.
Gonna cut all of them off, I have a feeling.
So
Their blooms are already set in if they're a spring bloomer.
Yeah.
And when I read Tracy's comment, it made total sense.
And she did that emoji with the hand over the face.
Well, she just wants to make sure that. But I told Jason, I said, no worries.
It was after February.
It was after February. So if somebody pruned after February, they're already breaking the rules.
They're already breaking the rules.
So just, reverse and next February.
And actually, according to Jason, that used to you pruned in late February. He said now, though, with these shorter winters, that they're pruning in early February now, early to mid-February. So
I read somebody's comment, and they said they always remember it as Valentine's
Right.
Day is for roses.
Mm-hmm. And February is the rose month,
Well,
the month of roses.
prune all the roses except for the spring bloomers in February.
Yeah. So I got a ticket. Maybe I'll be okay. It kind of reminded me of, I remember when I was a kid and I was 15 and had my driver's permit, and Mom had this deep blue, like navy blue, Lincoln Town Car. You know, that thing was the size of a school bus. And so I got to drive and went through town. Of course, we lived in a small town, Selma. Everything was good. I was so proud of myself. Got home, was pulling in the driveway, and we parked on the side of the house. And when you parked, you were facing the side wall like this. And I was like, Mom, I did good, didn't I? She said, you did. And I went to hit the brake to park, and my foot was on the gas and not the brake, and I ran into the house.
Oh, my gracious.
And that's kind of what I felt like I did with the roses.
Oh, my gracious.
Luckily, I didn't tear the bricks up. And so luckily, it was after February, so I didn't do any damage with the roses. So if I say anything about roses, and I already told you I was rose dumb, you may want to fact check me. But speaking of, number one, Tracy on Just Dig It Farm, she published Jason's almost full rose class that he taught on her YouTube channel.
I saw that come up.
Yes.
But I didn't have a chance to watch it or listen to it. But I thought that was good to pass along to people that wanted to hear firsthand information instead of the just Jason, hear it from the real Jason.
She probably heard me say that, and she's like, I got to get this video up.
Uh-huh. She probably did. But we try to do our best when passing along information.
We do try to do our best. Some things I guess I'm knowledgeable in some things. I feel like I'm not. I feel like I'm. Oh, why anybody want to listen to me? But
well, that's kind of like when Marycarl used to do the podcast, and she would do her thorough research and thought she had everything.
And something wouldn't be right.
And something wouldn't be right. And she might read a comment that turkeys weren't in 50 states or
something like that. I forget what it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or me saying that something about the license plates numbers. I remember that. And somebody saying that was wrong. And
we got Conecuh sausage wrong.
It's made in Evergreen, Alabama.
we get.
Hey, I'm not gonna forget it though.
I always say when we get something wrong, I say, on the next one, I'm going to remember to correct it, and I never remember to correct it.
Well, I just asked you. I said, you got anything you want to talk about? When we sat down, and you said, no, we just wing it. But you didn't tell me to remind you that you made the rose mistake.
No.
You must have been fresh on your mind.
It was fresh on my mind. So much so that I'm going to get all this straightened out for sure.
How?
Because Tracy's going to be on the podcast next week.
Yeah.
Yep, and Jason's coming soon. I wasn't going to ask him today, but he must be really busy, and I'm glad I didn't because I sent him a text this morning asking him a garden question, and 90% of the time he answers me like within 5 minutes, and that was like an hour ago, and he hadn't responded back, so he must be really busy, so I'm glad he didn't do the podcast today.
You know... It's Alabama. It's springtime.
Yeah, I bet they're wide open.
The temperatures are good.
I bet they're wide open.
People get this thing called gardening fever.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter if it's freezing temperatures next weekend. They going to plant something.
They're going to plant something. They're right wide open.
They going to plant something. It might be too soon. You might lose it. But it's just like going to Walmart and seeing all their summer flowers that are out. Knowing that a lot of them are going to get bit.
Well, you know, we knew someone that owned a feed store that sold vegetables and stuff like that, the little plantings, and he would tell me every year. He said, because he was a small store, so he had these little local nurseries that would bring plants, and of course Bonnie would bring theirs too, and he would tell me every year, as soon as it gets like right now, and this is early March?
Yeah.
He said, they buy them up, and he said there's going to be 1 or 2 more cold snaps that's going to get them.
Yep,
that's
right.
And it happens every year. And
you got to try to be patient. You got to try to be patient.
Look, I got ceilings in my greenhouse, and I got a cold front coming in next week, so I'm going to have to kind of watch them and see how they're going. I mean, in the greenhouse, they'll be fine. I'm just worried about they're getting too big for the seed trays, and then I have to, transplant them out into the garden. But we'll see. We'll see.
Well, I noticed a few comments from today's video, and they were talking about we had a cold snap coming, talking about our fruit trees.
Yes.
Well, it's not going to bother them.
No, they'll be fine.
They're in the ground.
Yeah, and it would have to get 8 degrees or 10 degrees to hurt our fruit trees. So we're good on fruit trees.
If it does that, I'm getting a jet plane.
And if it
south.
did, it wouldn't kill our fruit trees. It would just
stunt their
it would the
growth.
buds. It would kill the buds. So we should be fine on the fruit trees. We
You
should
know
be
what
good.
I saw on
What's
the
that?
way to town this morning?
Peach blooms
Peach trees are blooming everywhere. Which is not always a good thing because they're kind of like those people that get that spring fever.
They do.
And they sometimes have to come out with these sprinklers and wet the trees down to keep the buds.
I think the 32 would be okay. I think they'll be okay. If it got 30 or below 28, I think they may be a little worried. And I guess it depends on how long that is too. How long that 32 degree or that 28 degrees is. If it's for a couple hours, I think they'd be okay. But we'll know. We'll know if we start seeing the sprinklers going.
I've seen in years past crops be just about ruined.
Oh yeah.
Because of a really late hard freeze.
That's right.
And our friend Deb, that's no longer with us, that owned Deb's Nursery in Plantersville, Alabama, she always had her sprinklers on standby.
Right.
When it came to that March, April iffy weather, you have 80 degrees today, and then you have 25 the next morning.
Yeah.
And in that case, it sounds crazy, but she would run the sprinklers, and that would keep those. What does it do?
Well, believe it or not, it sounds odd, but the water, and it doesn't make sense. I'm not a scientist, so this is way above my head, but it acts as an insulator. Even if that water freezes, it acts as an insulator. So I don't know how that works. Don't ask me, but it supposedly that's what it does.
I remember us going there early on, and her telling us, temperatures are going to dip down. If y'all don't get these in the ground, then make sure you cover them up.
Yeah.
I got to run my sprinklers tonight, and I always just thought.
It makes no sense. I mean, it does not, but somehow or another, it's a buffer between the bud and the air, and it's above my pay grade by far.
I don't
May want
get
to
it
fact
either.
check me on that. But I think I'm right. I think I'm right on that. It acts as an insulator. I don't know how, but it does. Doesn't make sense to me.
So, with the house being as far along as it is,
Yes.
actually the garage and Mama's part, we have rain coming in next week. And we've talked about the potential of the red mud splashing up on the white house and staining it.
We're going to put some hay out.
So I called my guy that I had previously gotten hay from, that when Mr. Gregg did all the grade work, he said, y'all put some ryegrass seed out, cover it with some hay would be your best bet to keep the seed in place, and it'll keep that dirt from washing away, keep your seed from washing away.
And it worked. It worked.
And it worked.
Yep.
So our friend Jacqueline and Zach over at Head Family Farm, they actually told us that they had a friend who, I think she said they painted the bricks white, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then a rain came, washed some red up on the bricks, and it stained it for life. They couldn't get it off. So yesterday I made a phone call to the guy that I bought the inexpensive hay from, and he told me to give him a call today, that he was baling hay in another county yesterday, but he would maybe be able to stop and get me a round bale. And I think I'm just going to put it on the back of the truck.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I think I'm just going to go get it, and then I'd like to have more than one, but I really don't want to hook the trailer up just because we only have one house up right now.
And that one bale should cover around the house easily.
I think it'll cover around both of them.
I think so too.
I just would like to have a little more than, but I just don't feel like hooking the trailer up to go get 2 bales. So
no.
I think what we'll do when this is over is I'll make a phone call, see if he's actually available today.
Okay.
And go pick up the last of the 2x4s that we need to put the
Purple Pigeon
hardware
Palace.
Cloth on the top of the Purple Pigeon Palace.
I think so. Probably a good idea.
We've got 2 panels that are left to put hardware cloth on.
Yes.
And once we get those 2 panels, we're probably going to dance. It's been a job.
It has been a job. More
so than what we thought we were getting into.
Yeah, it is. And I'm finding out, especially since, I work for myself. This is my job now, the podcast and the videos and the flower farm and all this, that I need to spend more time on this than kind of stuff like that. So I may be better off because this is how we make an income,
Right.
by possibly hiring out somebody to do this, that kind of thing, and then me trying to do it because I find myself being stretched too thin where I can't do what I need, my job.
But you know what?
What's that?
Okay, so I don't know how many panels you've done so far. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of panels
Right.
that you had to get up on the top of, lay on your belly,
Right.
staple it down. The next part will involve being on the ground. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I can do a lot of that myself.
It should go a lot faster because I won't have to worry about cutting. We can just pull one run.
Exactly.
So
But we need to see what size wire we
the
want
width,
sucking.
the width's what we need. So we got to put a middle brace in wherever we got a joint. So we'll figure it out.
So I need to figure out that so we can get that wire
Right.
ordered. We are doing 1/2 by 1/2, which is a pretty small hole.
It's pretty small.
But we don't want to take a chance of any kind of predator.
No.
And we will take it under the bottom as well,
Yes.
so nothing can dig
That's right.
underneath. And we will be like triple protected.
That's right. And I got power right there. If we want to run just a little hot wire around the outside bottom, we can do that too. Wouldn't be that big of a deal.
We've got big plans for
Yep.
this aviary, and we want to get them outside because, it's the time of the year for everybody to go outside.
That's right.
And
It is.
Therefore, we need to get this thing completed.
It is.
So
It is.
time hadn't been our friend, and
Nope.
I know y'all watching are like, oh my gosh, they're still working on that thing. But it's just stopping. We put tools up when it's going to rain. We
Yeah.
bring tools back out
Oh, and it's not.
and don't have time to, do but
Yeah.
a couple of panels. So it's kind of a chore to bring stuff out just
Yep.
for, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's coming though. It's just not gonna be done all at one time. It's coming a little bit at a time. It's faster than the chicken coop was last time.
Well, that's because you were working a full-time job trying to do it. Is that somebody? Should I go peek?
Yep, it's UPS. The
Oh,
gate's
here?
open.
Okay, they can just leave it out
Okay.
there.
Yeah, he's just walking by.
Okay.
I see him now.
Not worried about UPS. They can leave whatever. But we are expecting concrete guys today.
Expecting concrete guys today.
I think he had a crash.
There he goes.
Hope he didn't hit the house.
Now what did he hit?
He might have put his foot on the gas instead of the brake, and
Yeah, expecting concrete guys today. I just think something else before he pulled up. Oh well, expecting concrete guys today. The doors and windows have been delivered for our house. Thank goodness.
woohoo!
Man, those guys, our front door for our house is a double front door that's 8 foot tall.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, it was 3 grown men, and one of these guys, y'all, he just about had a duck to go under the garage. That boy right there has been eating some cornbread and collard greens. I'm telling you, he was a big boy. He could just about, matter of fact, the single doors he picked up over his head by himself and just walked up.
Really?
Yes.
Well, did
But
they
he was
bring the same
struggling.
truck the second time as they
Yep.
did with the windows?
Same truck. They brought the same truck, but they had another truck with them.
Oh, okay. I was wondering how all 3 of them rode in that truck.
But he told me, he said, this ain't the biggest door we're delivering today. And I said, what? Because it's a double door. I don't know how wide it is. It's not like it's very
6
wide.
foot.
6 foot wide. 6 foot wide, double door, 8 foot tall. And it's that fiberglass outside, but the inside solid wood.
No, it's all fiberglass.
I saw wood in the bore hose.
It's not.
Okay. All right. I thought it was. But anyway.
There you go, spreading that false information.
Well, I just
again.
saw where the door hole goes.
Yeah,
it's wood
that-
there.
It's not. It's
Okay.
just a MDF door.
But the it is heavy. But
It
he
is
said,
heavy.
He said this isn't the biggest door we're delivering today. I said, really? He said, nope. I said, well, how big is it? He said 12 foot wide. So that's double that door.
That's
12 foot wide, and it was going into a lake house somewhere, and they wasn't quite for sure how they were going to do it.
That is unreal.
Yeah.
Now, Brant and his crew, they're a small bunch of guys.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they're obviously pretty fit because they've not had to have any help with any of the materials.
Right.
But I have a feeling you might have to give them a hand with that door
I'm going to tell him
to let you know.
to let me know, and he may want to bring because some days he has four guys or more.
Yeah, most of the time it's just him and 2 guys.
Him and 2 guys, but he may he may on that day when he's setting that door up, he may need some more backbone.
Yeah, because it's got to come out of the garage, which is only 7 foot tall, and then the door's 8 foot tall, so it's got to be leaned, and it's heavy, and
Yeah.
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 But I'm gonna tell you, I was thrilled to know that they brought them versus us taking 43 trips
Oh gosh.
to town, because it's 16 windows
16 windows
and 3 doors.
Yep.
One of them, which is the double door.
Yep.
So, yep, they're all here.
They're all here.
They're all here.
They're
and
all here.
we moved the bathtubs from under our house, which is where they've been because the plumber needed them for exact measurements, the
Yes.
clawfoot tubs. And we moved those back into the garage.
We did.
And we do need to take those back to the storage unit.
We do. We don't want them to get messed up.
No, and we don't want anything to be in anybody's
Right.
way that doesn't need to be here.
That's
So
right.
I'm thinking probably one day next week we might have some concrete.
Yeah, I think so too. If the weather isn't too bad, because the main thing he's worried about is the concrete trucks getting stuck, and that side over there
Oh, it's
is
just a
way worse than your mama's side.
That's
so
right.
We'll just have to see. He'll make that call.
Yeah.
So, and hopefully they show up today. They're supposed to be here today, so we'll
I
hope
think they will. I think they probably had a job this morning that they
Yeah.
were finishing up, and then they were going to come here because
Right.
I hope they do, because I've got the pest control scheduled for
For
Monday
Monday.
morning
Yep.
at 8:30.
If yeah, I hope they show up because
I'm going to need to let them know in ample time.
right.
I was thinking the other day that when we were on our way to tour the tornado shelter, safety shelter
Right.
in North Alabama, we were supposed to be there at 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And my GPS told me when we left out of here that we would be there at 10 o'clock.
Mhm.
10 o'clock.
Right.
And as we got down the road, we got in a little traffic.
We
which
did, and it was some bad traffic.
It was. And it was a little on this side of Birmingham. I mean,
Mhm.
it was not where we would normally run into traffic. So, that got my anxiety going. And I immediately, once we were stopped and I had ample opportunity, I sent a email to Safety Shelter and told them that I was running 10 minutes behind, because that was getting me just thinking about somebody saying they were going to
Be here.
and
Yeah.
I really think they will be.
I think they will be, because they were when they said last time, when they did your mom's, when they said they'd be here, they're here. And then they were here that one day from 7 o'clock that morning to 6 o'clock that night with headlights shining.
I think it was more
Working.
like 7 o'clock that
They
night.
were here, and I was like, my gracious, because I'm pretty confident they'll be here.
I am pretty confident that concrete is a jam-up job.
Yeah. I
It
am
looks
too.
really good.
It does look good. It really does. It looks great.
And Brant had told us yesterday that he was short some trim. The company he got it from didn't send the right thing, something.
Mhm.
And he wasn't going to be able to be here today, because unless he found some of that trim available close by, it was
Right.
going to be Monday.
Right.
So this morning, after the guys dropped off the windows, they did the windows first, I went over there to take a peek at them, and poor Bear, our Great Pyrenees, he's laid up in the garage, and he's just looking around because he loves Brant and the fellas that do the work.
He does.
And he just looked like somebody had took his last bone and, oh, my boys ain't here today.
He went from watching Greg all day that he goes over there and sits over there by by Brent and the builders and
Well,
watches him all day.
He must have something in between his ears up here, because common sense tells you that concrete's cool.
It is cool.
And he has been laying there watching Brant and the fellas since it's been poured.
Well, before that, he was laying under hours on that dirt watching them.
Yep.
Yeah.
But now he's figured out the concrete's a little cooler. So.
He has.
But Foxy doesn't do that.
Foxy or Sonny. Sonny does hang out there a good bit, but not like Bear.
Bear said that's his man, and
Bear-
he's got to keep him company.
He stays there just about all day, it looks like.
I said yesterday we need to make a shirt that said Bear in the builders. Bear's the foreman. Brant just works for him.
I asked him one day, maybe last week, I said, is he, do I need to put him over here? He's like, no, he's not bothering us at all.
Well, he just doesn't move.
He
Is the
don't. He
thing.
just sits there, yeah.
I mean, if you got to get a ladder, then you're going to have to go around him, because he's
Right.
not going to move.
And we've heard him calling, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We hear him coming down the road. Hey, Bear.
Yeah.
Bear's like, oh, there's my boys. So,
Oh, my gracious.
well, what's your plan for this afternoon besides maybe
Well,
getting some ground tilled up?
I guess the hay's the main thing. If you get that hay today, then I'll definitely be doing that. And then you ordered the weed mat for the flower farm. We're gonna put that woven weed mat down, and then we're going to. Well, my plan is to till it, cause this ground ain't never been worked. It's real compacted, and we're gonna till it. We're gonna put some compost down and till it again, and then depending on where we're at that stage, but we're gonna cover it with a 4-foot wide weed mat. My beds will be 4 foot wide. And then we're going to take our weed torch and we're going to burn holes and then put our plants in there. And then going to let the pathways be. If grass comes up in them, that's fine. You know, that's what I'm kind of hoping, that grass comes up in the pathways, to be honest with you.
How far apart will the...
2 foot. I'm going to make my paths 2 foot wide.
So we'll just do the little rolling weed eater in between them or something?
It's something like that, yeah. Yeah, because if we do it 6 foot wide...
Oh, yeah, you're wasting all your space.
Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna make them. And I talked to Katie, and she suggested 2 foot wide as well. And I want to say, Katie, if you're listening, thank you so much for putting up with me. I about wore her out with questions, and bless her heart, she answers me just immediately. So thank you so much. I know that she may get...
Well, she's busy herself.
I know she's busy.
But
yep. And Katie, that's Piper's mom, who also has a flower farm. And so she's been doing it for several years. So I've been picking her brain.
They did move just about the same time we did onto 125 acres. And, I mean, that's still a lot more space than...
yeah, it is a lot more space. And that's what made me think of...
But she kind of started over.
She had to start over. And we're kind of I guess me and her are...
At the same point.
Starting at the same point. And she asked me yesterday, she said, well, how long your bed's going to be? And I said, I looked, and I said, anywhere for about 90 foot. And I said, I was trying to figure out how I want my pass. And I told her, I said, I'm doing like maybe 90 by 50 or 90 by 60. Or I would like to get 10 rows in there. Mm-hmm. And she said, that's big. And I said, yeah. I said, but it can be bigger. I got it on 1.5 acres. I mean, that's only a 90 by 50. And I got that area's huge.
Right.
And but anyway, she said she said that's some work. And I said that is going to be some work. But it's going to be. I'm not planting it all at one time.
Right.
I'm going to have some succession planting. So when one is 2 or 3 weeks in, I'll plant another row, and then that one should die down, and then I can start another one. So, anyways, we'll see how it goes. I think it's going to be okay. And here's the thing with it. I'm just going to do what I can do. So if I can only pick so much, I just pick so much. And petals is going to be where we're taking them. So, you know, I'll just take them there, and they sell, they don't. That's the way I look at it. Yeah, that's the way I look at it. And I found me a cute little stand to put them in. I talked to Jason about it.
You did?
Yeah. It looks like galvanized buckets. And it's like 3 rows of them. And it's like 5 per row or something. I forget what it is. But it's real cute and
Will it go out on the porch or on the inside?
I'll have to talk to him about it. Yeah. I'll get it with him, and we'll figure that out.
Gotcha.
But my plan is say like, I'm just deliver on Wednesday and Fridays. And just, announce we just made a flower delivery Wednesday at Petals. So anybody's interested to go get them. So
gotcha.
We'll see how it goes.
We will.
And if I have too many, we can set up a little flower stand and just have a honor system out there or something. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I would like to make a trip, and I thought about suggesting that tomorrow if y'all wanted to Pepper Place.
Well, I've got plans for tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. You do. You're right. But
we've got to meet
that is
Robert.
Something I want to do.
Robert at Daybird Aviaries, and he's got some things for Marycarl, and we've got some things for him. Mm-hmm. So we have set up tomorrow to make that exchange.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Pepper Place is a huge, very popular farmer's market in Birmingham, Alabama. And I was just going to kind of get an idea of what other flower farmers are doing.
But, I bet it's just too early.
It depends. If they're greenhousing it may not be.
Yeah, that's true.
So I was just curious. to see what they're doing. I have I need 2 more tables, and I'll have my little setup going.
Well, you're talking about for the greenhouse.
Yeah. I'll need one for the inside and one for the outside.
Okay, so that I bought that... It's for the barn.
Uh-huh.
As I went down to the barn.
I saw that. Yeah, but I measured it, and that thing's not quite big enough for what I want. It's the
Okay.
width. It's
Okay.
not. My seed trays won't fit on it.
Well, I went and got some bird seed out of the freezer since we have the freezer here.
Okay.
So Marycarl could have some bird seed that she's almost out of. And I thought, hey, I bet Jason hadn't even thought about using this stand.
Right.
But I had bought it for the barn, so we'll use it for the barn. Right?
Yeah, we'll just save it for the barn. And I told you, because I got another big buddy that's a flower farm, and that's the Crowley House. If y'all, they just started a YouTube channel.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I've been watching it. They got a podcast. I've been listening to their podcast, but their podcast is Audible only. It's not on their YouTube channel. If y'all like flower farming, y'all please go check them out. But to me, their Instagram account may be one of the best out there. I mean, her house is just little. It's like if you close your eyes and you think of the most cute, beautiful cottage garden you can think of, and that's her place. It is gorgeous.
Well, I always thought it was Tracy's, but
Tracy's is too. I'm kind of like Tracy and her roses. That's my favorite rose.
Maybe that's in person.
That's my favorite
in
rose.
In person, that's our favorite. We haven't seen Crowley House in person.
We haven't seen Crowley House, but she has invited us, but she's in Oregon.
Oh,
so
I'll take a road trip.
That's a good little trip.
It sure is. We might need to start today to get there by
y'all,
Easter.
check out her Instagram. Check out everywhere. Her YouTube channel. I'll try to put a link down to her YouTube channel below. Her Instagram account. I'm not for sure if she's on Facebook or not, but her Instagram is to die for. And her podcast is great too. It's funny is they're talking about their little name for their new gardeners or the new flower farmers or new flower gardeners is baby bloomers, and I thought that was the cutest.
It is
Witty name. I just thought that was
bloomers.
The baby bloomers.
How about that?
And what also is so special about it is she's a big flower farmer, and it's her and her 2 daughters.
Yes, you've told me
and
that.
her husband helps out.
That's pretty cool.
But it's really but the main business is her and her 2 daughters. And they do arrangements. They do these big, huge, fancy weddings. And
there's a lot of flower farming going on up in the Northwest.
It is becoming quite popular. It's very trendy right now. I
just don't think of that as being an area that you could grow flowers with.
Oh, yeah. Oregon's got a great climate, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Yep,
you know,
do.
I watch these gold mining shows, Marycarl and I do, and it's always, up in that area, well, more so Alaska.
Right.
But, oh my gracious, I have in my mind what the climate's like in Alaska. It's the way it is in Oregon.
I think
Depends on where you are.
It depends on where you are, because there's some Alaskan climates that are like zone 7-ish,
right.
or so it's weird. And they may have microclimates up there too. And if you don't know what a microclimate is, that's kind of like you're in a valley, or you have a building or something. When we were at the rose class, there was a lady sitting right next to us, and she was talking about her roses bloom in December, repeat blooming and bloom in December.
Where is she?
She was in close by, like the Hope Hole.
How?
Hope Hole. And me and Tracy said she has to have some type of microclimate where she's got where she must be down, or she's
kind
getting
of like the old Cog Hill. I think that would classify as a microclimate.
It could be.
How do you ever figure that out though? You have to be.
I don't know how you figure it out. Well, some people do. Like you can plant like on one side of the house may get a lot more sun and heat reflecting off the building, so that creates like a microclimate, and you can grow things different there than you can in other parts of your property. So yeah, Oregon is got a good climate. Oregon is great for, guess what? Blackberries.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
Yes. And speaking of blackberries,
I was going to say something about them.
Speaking of blackberries, I had a lot of people say, "Why are y'all growing blackberries?"
Yes,
these things are wild.
They're invasive.
They're invasive. Blah blah blah. And we have wild blackberries here too.
We do. When we bought this farm, it was completely just blackberry haven. It was covered in blackberries, and those are the nuisance blackberries that you can't control.
They don't get very big.
No.
But it's like anything else. For example, plum trees. We have a native wild plum here called a Chickasaw plum. It's almost not worth growing because the seed is 90% of the fruit. the fruit is extremely tiny, and it would take you so many to do anything with, but yet they're I don't say they're invasive, but they grow very easily here, and they will take over. And that would be like saying, why would you grow a plum tree? Because these plums grow wild, but it's because there's so many different varieties of blackberries now.
Yeah, you can't be kind of like closed-minded, I guess you would say.
Yeah, and I guess that's people don't know that there's that many types of varieties of blackberries.
Because probably they're thinking of back in the day.
Yeah.
And that's the only variety there was, and that's all they know of.
Right.
And at no fault of their own, they don't realize that there are different varieties that have been improved greatly.
That you can train and trellis like we're going to do. That's only going to be two canes, and 10 foot will produce 45 pounds of blackberries. And if y'all watched the video, y'all saw how those blackberries are huge.
They are huge.
Huge.
But I responded to a couple of comments that I saw, and I just said, these are a different variety. We will plant them on a trellis, and we will cut them to 2 canes to where they grow. Of course, I couldn't do that, but...
Yeah. I'll, when Petals is in full stride, we'll take a little video of it and show you guys what we're talking about, because if you've never seen it before and you're thinking of what blackberries are like, your mouth's going to drop when you see this.
It's unreal how big they are.
It is.
It just doesn't take but just a few to make a serving. I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but
it is crazy.
And if you have seen them, then you know it's not.
Right.
But technology has come so far.
That's right.
When it comes to fruit, just like electronics and things like that.
Well, not only that, like a pear. We have a native pear here. It gets like this big and as hard as a rock. But, there's so many beautiful, delicious pear varieties out there. So blackberries are the same way. So if you've never seen the only blackberry you ever seen is the wild ones that go crazy. There's other varieties out there that are nice. And another thing, and I knew it was going to come up, and I should have said it in a darn video. Usually when we mention blackberries or fruit, a lot of people say raspberries. Y'all need to grow raspberries. We can't grow raspberries here. They do not like Alabama weather at all. I know you can't grow them, but I've tried it. But and if they do produce fruit, you may get 5 or 6.
It's just not.
Our
climate is just not
like it.
And there were a lot of comments about, why don't y'all try growing this, or why don't you try growing this? We have to stick with what we know grows well in our area. And that's why I depend on Jason a lot, and Tracy. Because he's probably tried, all of the things that have been listed, and he knows that our climate's just not adapted to. We have very low chill hours, so we're really limited on pears and apples. And cherries. Very, very low chill hours here. And that's crazy that fruit trees have to have a certain amount of chill hours, freezing weather. Crazy. Isn't that crazy? Because it is crazy. You think that if something will grow in Oregon, then it'll grow in Alabama. Right. But that's where zones come in. That's right. We have to tell my mama about this a lot. She'll order a rose bush or something like that online, and she doesn't realize that is not hardy for our zone. And also, zones are not equal either. Somebody like Oregon could be zone 8 and we can be zone 8, but we have humidity of 110% with a dew point pushing 80. So our heat here is different there, and therefore the plant will react different too. I think that's kind of how raspberries are. I think technically raspberries can grow in zone 8, but they don't like Alabama zone 8. And I saw a comment about this. Somebody said, I'm in zone 8. Can I grow such and such? But they were in Canada in zone 8. That's what I was telling you. And, my mouth kind of flung open, because I thought at the time, this is so confusing because people think. It is confusing, but that's your base. And what I always do is trial and error. And then ask somebody, if you can find a mentor or a master gardener class. I've told you that's something I want to do,
one day is the master gardener class. But if you can find somebody or a club, there's garden clubs out there.
Or even groups on Facebook or social media.
On Facebook, and find somebody in your area. And if you can find somebody like that you can kind of lean on and ask questions with, it is great because, areas are different, And if you're around here, like, I'm thinking that our garden here in Georgia are pretty similar.
Right.
And I think Louisiana and Mississippi are probably pretty similar
but not
to us,
Canada.
too. Not Canada.
Not Canada.
Yeah.
This person thought, well, I'm in the same zone you are. Can I grow?
But you can try it. It may work. I'm not for sure. I'm really not for sure on that.
You know what another question that I saw pop up
What's that?
lot was?
What's that?
And I thought, oh, goodness, these people don't realize that kohlrabi is a cold season vegetable.
You can grow it early spring, but when the heat hits...
The heat's here.
Yeah, well, heat is here.
I mean, it would cause it to bolt, right?
It would cause it to bolt. But some people have, we have short seasons except summer here. We really do. We have a short spring. We really don't have a spring.
I bet you I saw 15 comments that said, why aren't y'all planting kohlrabi?
Yeah.
Y'all ranted and raved about it last year.
Right.
How come you're not planting it?
We use it as it's a cool season vegetable for us. We
That's
plant
right.
kohlrabi in the fall.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I did answer.
But if you're in zone 7 or 6, maybe you can grow kohlrabi in the spring.
But we can't tell you that because...
I don't know, but I know who can. The Hoss website will. The Hoss website, if you go to the Hoss website, it will tell you, will this grow in my region? And it tells you, I think you put your address in.
What
Yep.
time you should plant it and what time it would mature.
Yep,
and
all that. So the Hoss website will help you out with that. Yep.
That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
Well, I did see that, and I thought, oh, people, we don't do that.
Yeah,
in the
we grow, and these are vegetables that a lot of people think you grow in the spring that we grow in the fall. Carrots. We grow carrots in the fall and harvest them in the spring. Kohlrabi, all of our greens.
To get the best harvest.
Yeah, our lettuces, our broccoli, our cauliflower, turnips, collards, rutabagas.
Yep.
Those things we grow in the fall. We actually can grow more varieties of things in the fall here than we can in the summer because our summers are so brutal.
Yes. And you don't think about those things. I mean, you think about spring as being cool, but it just gets a little bit too warm here to have an ample crop. So if you plant it in the fall, you got those cooler temperatures and it's successful.
Yeah, it is.
Here.
Right.
Here.
Yeah, we don't... We go from jackets to shorts.
Overnight.
There's no in between hardly.
Somebody said, y'all go from jackets to shorts, whereas where we are, we go from coats to parkas.
We don't do it. We don't have light jackets here.
No, we don't.
If you bought a light jacket, you'd probably wear it 4 times.
Or you'd put it on first thing in the morning, go out and feed, and by the time you came back
Ain't
in,
that the truth?
You'd shed it.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It
Oh
is.
my gracious, it's crazy.
Our weather is just not very predictable. But
It's gonna be predictable when summer hits.
it is. It's gonna be. I predict it's gonna be 100.
Oh my gracious,
And
it's gonna be
speaking
rough.
of that, I about need a bush hog.
Yeah, ain't that something?
I about need to bush hog.
I tell you, our pasture is greened up quick.
It has. Out by the road needs cutting.
Yeah.
I would like to get that fertilized and make that grass a little prettier.
Out by the road?
Yeah, but
Okay.
I think we might have to skip this year and just keep it cut. Maybe focus on that next year.
Maybe so. We'll see. I'll have to ask.
Greg
Ask somebody.
at Hoss.
Greg at Hoss, he knows a lot about grasses.
He does.
Yep.
But I don't know. It's just, I enjoy cutting the grass when I have time.
Yeah.
But we've got so much going on right now. Oh, I know what I was going to say.
What's that?
The other day, you and Brant were talking about finishing Mom's house out.
Yes.
And you said something about if he would be interested in doing it, then we would just as soon pay him, or even more so pay him, than pay somebody that we really don't know.
Right.
And he said, you know what, I've been thinking about that.
Mhm.
And he said, I think that'd be a good little job for me to do on some of these rainy days.
Right.
Well, spring we have a lot of rainy days, a lot of tough weather.
Right.
Rainy, stormy weather. That's when you think about storms.
It
is
is
in the spring here. He'll have his built-in tornado shelter, so if if the weather gets real bad.
Yes.
But I was thrilled to hear that Brant was interested in doing the finishing on Mom's house.
He is. I haven't asked him because I know he's been busy, but he's going to work us up a price on doing that. And I even suggested to you that possibly, after I'm starting to figure out that I got so much going on that maybe we may see him finishing the inside of our house too.
Yeah, at least some of the things that we can't do, like build stairs and do that loft area. Things like that I'm unsure about, but he can just help us with it. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I'm thrilled to know that he was interested in finishing Mom's house out, and she was too. She said, "Oh my gracious, that's the best news I've ever heard."
Yeah.
Because we kind of don't have anybody lined up yet, and I'm glad we don't.
I'm glad we don't either.
Because it's going to work out if he decides that he wants to do it.
I think he will, because your mom's house is so small and it's not that many walls, and so.
No, it's only I counted.
There's our spider.
It is. I saw it earlier, and I was trying to get my eyes off of it. It's
She's
not but like
hiding.
3 walls.
Yeah, you looked.
Well, just going in there and looking, there's a den, there's a bedroom, and a bathroom.
That's true, yeah.
It's just, there's a closet broke down in between, but he can throw those up in a day. And he can hang and finish sheetrock, too. It's not his favorite thing to do, but I think if a rainy day could keep him busy and get him paid, then...
Yep, him and his guys, yeah.
Maybe he feels like we're so fun to work with that he just wants to stick around. You reckon that's what it is?
I think he does like working for us because, we do what we say we're going to do, and we cater to him and, that kind of thing. So,
well,
we're easygoing, and me and him kind of become friends a little bit. So,
yeah, if I had started preparing him lunch from day one and doing that, then maybe he might offer to finish our house out.
Maybe so. I am going to ask him though.
Are you?
I am going to ask him.
We might have to start firing the grill up every day around lunchtime.
I'll tell him that.
Tell him that if this is an incentive, we have a tornado shelter coming.
That's right.
And we'll prepare your lunch.
That's right.
Every day.
We'll break the grill out.
Yeah, we will. Well, because that won't involve me.
That's right.
I saw something funny the other day, and
What's
it
that?
made me think of something that I had never, and this is totally off subject.
Oh, we're all off subject here.
Yeah, but this
this podcast originally was talking about gardening and how to, and yeah.
Now we're just jumping.
Now we just
jumping beans.
We just go with it.
The J&B jumping beans.
Instead of how to, and we just try to make people happy and smile.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But this is kind of funny.
Okay.
So our weather's been crazy.
Yep.
It came some massive rain last week, was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Because we went to visit the tornado facility.
That's right.
Well, first of all, that video is not out this week like we thought it would be, but it will come out one day.
I had
next
a
week.
rough week this week. I struggled
getting
this week.
videos edited your footage was all over the place.
Well, not only that, it was unorganized, and we had planted the fruit orchard. That took 2 days, all day. Installed the drip irrigation, helping, it's been busy.
Okay, so
go ahead.
Marycarl and I were in town, and it was raining, and this lady had this coat on that she walked in front of me, and it brought back a memory.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a tan ankle-length raincoat kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it was kind of cool outside, so it was probably insulated.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, Marycarl, you see that lady right there? She said, yeah. I said, let me tell you something. I said, you know how I like to maybe buy and sell stuff and try to make ends come together from
my
nothing.
Gracious. And it was
she
a
said,
trench coat, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was like a women's
trench coat. Mm-hmm.
And she said, yeah. And I said, well, let me tell you something. I said, one time back before you were born, I had an opportunity in a thrift store to purchase 1,200 coats. She
trench
was like,
coats.
what? You didn't buy them? And I said, I did. And she said, what are you talking about? I said, okay. So we have this factory that was in our hometown.
Mm-hmm.
And they were a sewing factory, and they made apparel for a certain group.
Right.
And so they often had misstitched, or if anything was missewn, and I mean to the point where I wouldn't even recognize it.
Right.
It was just a little simple stitch that was crooked, or it may have been a defect that was more noticeable.
Right.
But anyway, they couldn't keep that stuff. They had to do something with it. And normally they donated them. So I was a frequent follower of the Goodwill, Salvation Army, and all of our thrift stores in our area
Mm-hmm.
for my own pride and joy. And they had 1,200 trench coats that were donated to them because they were misstitched, missewn, missized, miss something.
Right.
And they offered for me to buy them.
Because it was so many.
They knew they didn't have anywhere to store them.
And yeah, it was just way too much for them to even do something with.
And they were going to keep like 100.
Right.
And they wanted to know if I would like to buy the remaining bulk quantity,
Yep, right.
which was about 1,200 coats.
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, my wheels are turning. I'm thinking to myself, yes, I would. What did you thinking? And they told me to, basically make them an offer.
Mm-hmm.
And so we came to an agreement that I would buy the 1,200 trench coats for $300. It was 25 cents a coat.
Yeah.
25 cents a coat. So that made...
Which in reality sounds like, oh, this is the best deal ever.
Yeah, it's the best deal ever.
Yeah.
Best deal ever. You got 25 cent coats, and they were nice coats, and they were really
very nice coats.
Very
nice coats.
Jason used to work at the funeral home, and my dad did as well.
Mm-hmm.
And when they went on funerals, they often would wear these navy blue or black trench coats because it looked nice with a suit.
Right.
Or you could just wear it out casual.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be water repellent. And a lot of them had an insulated lining inside of them that would keep you warm.
Very nice coats.
Or a lot of them had a removable liner that you could snap in or out. So I told Jason I would like to buy these 1,200 coats for $300.
Right.
I think I can make some money. Oh, my gracious. What in the world are we going to do with 1,200 coats?
Yeah, because the way I saw it is number one, how are you going to sell them? And then number two, there's all these sizes. They're all different colors. They're all different styles. Who is going to try to keep up with that and organize that? And how are you going to... If they would have been all the same, it would have been way easier.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't. You got extra small, small, medium, large, extra large, extra large, longs. There were some that were longs. And so that made it so bad.
Plus the... Salvation Army was keeping, 100 or so of them to sell for themselves,
right,
to make a profit. So they were being marketed there. So, what would I do with them? Well, I'm thinking I'm going to sell them on eBay. I'm going to sell them on Craigslist, and I'm going to sell them in my flea market booth. And I did.
You did.
I stored them in one, and it probably was the Purple Pigeon Palace at the time.
It's from my dad's place. They stored them over there.
He had those utility trailers.
And y'all, you don't know how 1,200 jackets took up a lot of space.
And it took up a lot of trips to go get them.
And see, that was the thing. And that was the thing that I was thinking about. Okay, so you sell 3 a week on eBay. One's the extra small brown. One's a 2X blue. And then one's a large dark brown lined. So you got to go through all those boxes to find those 3 jackets.
Do you remember that legal pad?
This is crazy.
The legal
pad
that
I remember the legal pad.
I had written down every size and every color, and every time I would sell one, I would mark it off. But I did make a profit on it.
Mm-hmm.
I did make a profit on it. I ended up selling all but about 400 of them.
Uh-huh.
I sold about 800 of them, and I had about 400 left. Mm-hmm. When after a year, your daddy came to me in a very tactful manner, and he said, "Brooke,
gotta do something with these jackets.
You gotta do something with these jackets.
You gotta do something with these jackets.
I am to the point where I need my storage."
Yeah.
And I ended up donating them all back to the Salvation Army. But I thought that was a funny little story that y'all might get a kick out of. I sold them for $19.99 a piece.
Mm-hmm.
And they were very nice. Very nice.
They were extremely nice jackets. I'm not gonna lie. They were nice, made in the USA. Very nice jackets.
I can remember my grandmother.
The logistics of it was just too much for two people to handle.
I can remember my grandmother, who lived in Florida at the time. She's no longer with us, but I can remember her saying, "Can you please save me an extra small in a black and an extra small in a khaki?" And she was just thrilled to get the coats. But they were just it was just a likable one size or one color, one gender, one.
Right. Because they were all female jackets.
Well, no, they were unisex.
Oh, okay.
Remember?
For some reason, I thought they were female. You're right. I guess they were unisex.
I shouldn't say unisex. They were male and female ones.
Okay.
We had to sort through those too to know
which
one was which.
Oh, that's right. It was a logistic nightmare.
It was a nightmare.
And go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, that kind of leads me to this. I'm glad you just brought this up because I was going to say this, talking about our shirts. There were some people that are kind of confused on our shirts. We don't do our shirts ourselves for the same reason as this. Number one, I don't have the space for it, and number two, there's no way that we could keep up with. We have like 6 designs, and then you got extra small all the way to XXX, and then or even bigger than that.
Some of them were 5X. I looked the other day.
And then there's like 10 different colors. There's no way that we could keep. The only way we could keep up with, if we did it, was to be one shirt, one color, and size small, medium, large. And we tried that early on before we were this popular, and we had a hard time doing it that way. Even Daniel Arms and his wife, they tried it last year before last, and they don't do it no more. They don't print their own shirts. So what we use is a company that's a big company, and it's a print-on-demand company. And so when you order a shirt, they print it and then they ship it to you. It's a big company. To be honest with you, I don't have a rep. So if you have an issue, you have to contact them through customer service. And as far as I know, for the most part, I know that, there's going to be instances where it's not. But for the most part, I've not had that many issues at all.
No, as a matter of fact,
company.
Mama has ordered 2 different shirts this past week.
Mm-hmm.
And while they were shipped in 2 separate packages, I don't know why. It was
either.
2 different designs, and they came at 2 separate times. But other than that, everything was perfect.
Right.
It was just she got one shirt, and she was like, I ordered 2. Wonder why I didn't get 2.
Right.
Well, I couldn't answer that. Even though I'm her daughter, I still couldn't answer it because I have no ability to go in and look at orders except for know what I sold.
Yeah, we don't even know who buys our shirts. We have no idea.
But it does help us.
It does. We do get a small commission when somebody does order a shirt.
But you can see how we cannot. There's no way physically possible without us hiring a cog squad to come in and take care of it. There's no way we can do it.
Yep.
It's just not possible.
And most YouTubers or content creators kind of use these companies, and it's like 3 of them, and they're pretty much, I like this one because it's user friendly. We used one prior that it wasn't user friendly. It was kind of confusing when you went and looked at the shirts.
And Mama told me that this company is a lot easier to deal with.
It's a lot easier, and so that's why we went with them. But they're all pretty much kind of the same. But it's the only way that we can do shirts, and it's the only way that a lot of matter of fact, I talked to Al Alumna this week. He wanted to know who I was using. And he said he wanted to make a switch because he didn't like the one he was using. So most of us kind of use these companies because there's no other way we could do it. It's either use a drop ship company to make our shirts, or don't have merchandise.
That's
really.
Right.
So.
And a matter of fact, one of Brant's workers, or actually 2 of them, wanted to know if we had any T-shirts this week. They did. And we wish that we had something to offer, but we have to go on and order our own.
We have to order just like y'all.
We have to order, and they don't know who we are when we have it shipped to our address.
That's
they
right.
don't know that we're the owner of the logo or whatever. But it would be a nightmare for us to try to take care of it.
Yep. But for the most part, because we, from from feedback we got, we usually have most everybody seems happy.
Yeah.
Most everybody seems happy with it.
Every now and then you'll have an
every
issue.
now and then.
But hey, if you sell 1 million items and you only have one problem, then you're doing pretty good.
Right, because these companies are big, and like I said, I don't know how many YouTubers there are out there, but there's a bunch.
Well, and they don't only do YouTube.
Oh no, they only do YouTube. I'm just saying, yeah. So they are a company tied to YouTube that offer their services to us, and that's kind of what we do. Yeah, me too. Now we will eventually get back to doing hats, but right now we don't have any space. I don't have any room to do it, and hats are still kind of hard to get. So.
And Marycarl has been working on a logo. Have you seen it?
I have not. She's got a new logo?
Well, she's been drawing all of her breeds of pigeons on her iPad, and she hopes
I have seen some pictures she's been drawing on her iPad, but I hadn't seen the new logo.
Well, it's not a logo.
Oh, okay.
I shouldn't have said that. A new design.
Okay.
It's got the Victorian crown pigeon. It's got a fantail. It's got a powder.
Okay.
And she wants to make a shirt with all of those on one shirt.
We will do it. And I got to give a shout out to somebody for helping me with shirts here lately. Who kind of designed the whole last Moody shirt.
That's right. I know who it is.
And that was Jacqueline Head at Head Family Farm, who did our website.
Yes.
She helped me with that shirt, and she's helping me with some other shirts too.
She's
bless
her
heart. She volunteers. She says, I'm, and next thing I know, she sends me a
I don't know how she has enough hours in her day.
I don't know how she's got enough hours in her day. I don't know. Maybe she sleeps 3 hours at night, and that's all she needs.
Well, maybe, but I need my sleep.
But we are working on some flower shirts to go with our new flower farm here, and so we're kind of working on some of those. We are looking into maybe a Mildred shirt, because that's come up a lot.
Cats
and a Tucker shirt, or a pink and Tucker shirt. So that stuff should be coming out hopefully in the next few months.
Pink and Tucker looking this way, saying I'm seeing double.
What's the double mint? What's the double mint? I forget.
Double trouble's what it should be.
Could say double trouble.
Double trouble.
We'll figure it out.
We got a lot of ideas, but it's just a matter of a rainy day to sit down and put it all. I told you the other night, I said, we're going to start. Did I say this out loud on the podcast? I don't know what I do. But I think we were in the truck when I told you at our dinner, we sit down as a family every night and have dinner. And we're together all day long, but at dinner is when your thoughts come together.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm going to make it a point to clear the table to where I can put a yellow legal pad in the center with a pen, and every day let's write down something that we need to do the next day.
Yeah, you did.
Because it's not that we don't manage our time. We could do better at managing our time and knowing what's on our mind to get done the next day.
That's right.
I mean, we're all over the place today. We know we need to get the wire put on the Purple Pigeon Palace. I know you need to edit this podcast. We need to fix up a plot in the garden. I need to go get the hay. I want a bush hog. I've already been to the grocery store. I've already got supper going.
And I need to go back and get 2 tables.
You need to go back and get 2 tables for the greenhouse. I need to get 2 2x4s. Did I say that?
We got to get 2 2x4s.
2 2x4s. I need to call Alabama Steel about metal for the aviary.
Right.
And it's Friday, so I got to get all this done today.
What we need to do is when we get this flower, we ain't got nowhere to put them. We need to sign up with a woofer program.
Okay. So I was thinking, we had just about come to the downside of selling the tiny house. Downside. I don't know why I said downside, but we had just about decided that it wouldn't be feasible for us to keep the tiny house to supply electricity, to move it to the other side of the farm because our road to our house is going to come right through there. But this morning I said, you know what?
Greg's built a road.
Well, besides that, I said we need to keep that tiny house.
We could actually.
We need to keep the tiny house, Jason. Just think about it.
We could do interns.
Our house is not going to be big enough to have guests.
No, it's not.
It's just not.
It's not.
And we're just not guest kind of people.
That's
not
right.
spend a night company guest anyway. when somebody new comes, a guest comes and they need to spend the night, I feel like my towels are grungy and I need to go buy new towels.
Yeah.
Or it's always a constant, worry.
Right.
But if I had that little house,
yeah,
all I'd have to do is say the guest house is over there.
Yep.
It'd be perfect.
It would be perfect.
It'd be perfect. We could put, a set of bunk beds in there if they had kids, or when we've already got the bed with the trundle, so
right.
a couple could
and
sleep
then
on
it's
it.
got the loft.
It's got the loft.
If we were to do woofers,
a
the loft
bunch
would
of
be
them could
yeah.
sleep up
yeah.
there. A whole bundle of them.
Mm-hmm. If y'all don't know what woofers are, I know it's like, what the heck is a woofer? I know he's saying it wrong.
We talked about this one time before.
I know he's saying. He says 50% of the thing that guy mispronounced, and I know he's mispronouncing woofer. A woofer is, say, like a young person that has graduated high school and wants to learn about farming, and it stands for Worldwide or Organic.
Worldwide Opportunities on Organic Farms.
And they call it woofer, is what they call it, or they're woofers.
WWOOF.
And it's an internship, and they'll come here, and we'll provide them somewhere to stay and food, and they can work like 4 hours a day learning how to farm. And then they'll rotate out. Say, like, they're here for a couple of weeks, and then they'll go off to another farm.
Or it could be a long-term program.
I wish they had this going on when I graduated high school, because I would have loved to do this.
And I think that it is so awesome that people choose to do this.
It is.
Now, our friend Laura at Simply Making It, they have participated in the Wolf program for many, many years. And we have met a lot of their people that have come and gone.
They absolutely loved it.
They had a couple that did it, Victoria and Chaz.
We're still friends with them.
Still friends with them. They've actually had a baby since then.
They actually came over and helped us do meat chickens one day.
Helped us process meat chickens.
Sure did.
They just want to learn, and that's their goal, is to learn more about farming.
That's right.
Or flower gardening or whatever.
Right.
And I'm sure that when they go to sign up, they have different categories that they're interested in, and I'm sure they check those, and whoever it applies to can. Hey, I'm really thinking that this would be a good opportunity.
I think so too.
For us.
I really do, and especially, as well as I do, if the flower farm is successful,
you can't have enough hands.
I'm gonna have to have some help.
You can't have enough hands.
I'm going to have somebody help me pick and help me.
I think that we can get that tiny house moved to the other side of the property without having to hire a company come in and jack the little thing up. Greg's already said.
I'm fixing to say we got Greg.
But you're so scared when it comes to stuff like that.
Not with Greg, I ain't.
Well, if Greg says he can do it, I'm confident.
I'm not. If Greg says he can move that tiny house, then by gosh, we will move that tiny house. I am not worried with Greg. I'm not worried. If Greg told me he could pick up that barndominium and move it across the pasture over yonder that we're building, I'd say, go ahead, Greg. I believe you.
Yeah, I feel that way about Greg, too, and he's already told us that we can move that tiny house.
Yeah, he seemed confident he can
move that tiny house. The only thing we'll have to do is provide electricity.
Right. The only thing that worried about tiny house was that last guy that dropped it off, who was extremely nice, but he said the way they built something on there that it was kind of...
It needed to be reinforced before we moved it again, but...
Right.
If we're not going to put a little trolley system up under it, then I don't think that matters.
I don't know how Greg will move it, but...
He said...
Just wrap some chains around and get that...
Yeah, well, he had a whole explanation for it, and I wasn't listening too closely. But I think over by the oak tree, and use his road that he's using...
at first I was like, gosh, we got to get rid of that road, and... But now I think we ought to keep that road.
I think we ought to keep it.
I think
put the tiny house on the other side and let that be somebody's own little private entrance.
I really do think
now, I ain't talking about nobody moving in and being here permanently.
No, we're talking about...
I'm talking about for a guest house or for somebody that would come and work.
The interns and woofers.
And us
woofers
help them
awesome.
And them help us.
Yeah.
I can handle that. I can teach them how to make cog cornbread.
That's right.
Next thing you know, we'll be in the kitchen with the woofers.
That's right. That's right. Oh my gracious! All right, well,
I think we ought to keep
we're
it.
solving all our problems right here live
all
on the
the world's
podcast.
problems. If you need to know anything, you just send us a message, and
That's right.
we may or may not see it.
And also, Tracy, I don't know how long I'm gonna be in the Rose doghouse, but maybe
Hey, she's
we
gonna
can.
fix that. She's gonna make up for that next week. She's gonna share all of her expert knowledge, and it's all gonna be the facts. She's not gonna have to revert any information.
That's right.
Because she's gonna have it all written down and ready
That's
to
right.
go.
So we'll figure it out.
We will. Until next time,
Y'all
we are the Cog Squad,
We are
and
the
you are
Cog-
too. So
That's right. Y'all are the Cog Squad, and happy 100.
happy 100. If that didn't go goofy enough, I don't know what did.
Just like us.
That's just like us.
Y'all-
100.
100.
Woohoo!
Y'all be good.
Well, it's another one in the books for the Cog Hill 40. Join us again next week for our next edition of the Cog Hill Podcast. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.